Hi, Salvatore. How are you?
Fine, thanks. I'm going well.
Good. Good. I want to ask you today a little bit about your journey as an investor in Dubai real estate. So when did you first think about buying in Dubai?
Let me say never.
Okay.
I arrived here, I was in London, desperate during lockdown, trying to managing my company problems, and my company was in Italy and is in Italy, managed by an independent CEO. And because of COVID, we were living the nightmare that you all remember, no? So, unfortunately, I didn't have in that time many Amazon stocks.
Okay, yeah.
Amazon or Zoom stock.
Any of them, right? Yeah.
But I'm passionate for American stocks, but unfortunately, I lost that train.
Okay.
And for this reason, after the second lockdown, I noticed that there were only two opportunities, Miami and Dubai, because they were the only cities open.
Okay.
Or in such a way open.
Yeah.
Okay. So I decided Dubai. I know very well Miami, where I worked also and where my third daughter was born. But I said, I don't know regarding Dubai. Let me take the occasion and go for 10, 15 days, depending on the situation. There is nothing to do here. I can work remotely from Dubai. Okay. I didn't know where downtown was, in front of Marina. Yeah, I heard about this Burj Khalifa. Yeah. And I cannot say I liked immediately. I understood immediately regarding the potential. Even during pandemic, there was a different energy, and all the people, like today, are cooperating to let the city progress. I evaluated that the city, so well organized and arranged, have a lot of chances to increase the number of people that also for the event of pandemic experimented that their countries are not so safe. With respect, I speak of Indian families, African families, where they couldn't count on good infrastructure, good hospital.
Yeah, I mean, even Italy, right? In the beginning, it was a pretty tough situation.
It was a disaster.
Yeah, yeah. I think Italy was probably one of the first countries where everyone took a step back and realized it wasn't just a China issue, right? It was the early days, right? Yeah.
So I came here for, let me say, a case of destiny. But what I am proud of is I decided to remain. I never went back. I have my airplane ticket with Emirates that I moved for more than 3 years. Okay. And I decided to close everything, asked to my friend to arrange moving and start analyzing the market, studying the real estate market, understanding which opportunity could represent the right one to start, like many people now, no? When you approach this city, it's not so easy. It's not so easy. Yeah, you see a lot of building under construction, a huge offer also of existing properties. It's not easy to understand which neighborhood could be the best one if you want to obtain a capital appreciation, or which one will be good to obtain an important yield, an income from rental quite high.
So what was your move? What was the first thing that you purchased?
The first was a big project under construction in Dubai Marina. Okay. I knocked a lot of doors, very few open to a proposal to participate in the project or buying a big portfolio of properties, as I typically do, especially in Dubai. And Scope Investment, a developer from Abu Dhabi, well represented by a local advisor here, accepted to make this strange agreement, allow me to book until 52 big units in a tower under construction. I remember I was the only customer in their office.
Okay.
Can you imagine? Today and 3 years ago, I was the only one.
But that's the thing, right? Those that are willing to make moves like that when the market's in a different place are usually the ones that end up winning, right? It's a tough one. In hindsight, it looks so obvious, but at the time it was not, right? But let me just go a little bit more now on that point. What you like to do is you like to buy directly from developers the option on units, right?
Exactly. I underwrite the stock of future because they are not built yet.
Okay.
And I prefer to book them, to have the right.
Okay.
There is no reason to become the owner because it's not my job. For me, properties are a security when I inject money in a project.
And how do you secure yourself?
I secure myself, first of all, selecting the area,
okay,
understanding which project in that area could be successful or more demanded in front of others. Big due diligence on the developer, that's a crucial point. Not only the developer, even the team, because they often outsource to general contractor and other suppliers. So it's very important to understand the track record of the developer, if he will deliver on time or not. Quality of the development is crucial in my opinion. And also the flexibility for a payment plan. So when I made this first project, I bought 93 million of dirham of properties. That means more than 23 million of euro. But I paid 5% at that time. Then another 5% after 3 months. Then 5%. So, of course, when you plan something like that, you should have the money to proceed and continue. But it's a model that I suggest also to experiment to other people. Because
but the developer obviously entertained this, first of all, because of the timing, right? Yeah. I'm assuming it's become a lot more difficult today to find good deals like this, right? But number two, because you took the ultimate risk, right? Because if you were not able to sell these units on, you would have had to fulfill the payments, or you would have had to release the units, correct?
No, yeah. Honestly, I don't like to risk to release the units, but because it means that I lost the deposits I paid. Yeah. So is an extrema ratio, something that shouldn't happen.
But can I ask, you bought these properties for 93 million dirhams in total? If it came to it, did you have the money?
Not all 93.
Okay.
No.
But obviously 93 million, you
probably
were
55%.
Okay, so but from the moment you bought the units, you also weren't in a position to start selling them straight away because the developer needed to sell their stock, right?
That's my secret, to negotiate with the developer, not like a buyer that count to resell.
Okay.
That should wait, for example, 30%, 40% of payment already done, and then receive the NOC from the developer. If you want to deal with me, you have to sit and we have to find an agreement, win-win for both the party, developer and investor, equity investor. If you consider I take big risk because you don't know the future.
But if the developer still had units, right, which I'm assuming they did, right? You took 93, but if we're talking about a tower in Dubai Marina, and I know which tower it is, big tower, they still had a lot of units. Absolutely. So naturally their sales team is going to think, okay, this 93 million is reserved to an extent, let's focus on the rest, right? And obviously every broker, every buyer is going to the developer for their units, right? They're not going for yours. So you do, to an extent, have to wait for the developer to reach a certain level of sales before you start to see any customers, correct?
Yes, correct. The question is very sharp. Let me say you got the point. And this was a big risk to be postponed to the ending of the stock of the developer to start selling my properties. Yeah, it's something that I probably under-evaluated.
Okay.
I didn't met you before, unfortunately, but I make the consideration. Yes, they will remain with their stock that will be promoted on the market. In the meantime, they released new phases, not all the stock, all the inventory on the market together. There were not too many clients. And for this reason, after 3, 6, 8 months, they start increasing the price list. At that point, even a gap of 4 or 5 points that I started having represented a good opportunity. Staying 1 point, 1.5 points below, I had the opportunity to be competitive and to remain competitive. Of course, at that time, no one knew me, and they say, why I should buy from this guy when I can buy from the developer? I feel more secure. Okay, this is second things I learned. Much better, not resell, much better remain on the primary market and let the developer will deliver and sell and close the deal. It's not for saving taxes or costs. No. It's a different approach. It's a totally different strategy. Your job, my job, is to put money and take my money back, hopefully with a profit.
Yeah.
And for this reason, my slogan is buy it, flip it, or rent it.
Yeah.
If you like rent, or in the case market condition will change. That could happen, no?
I suppose the other thing as well is 93 million, you had half the money, let's say, to make the maths easy. As you start selling the units, you're getting your money back for those units, right? As well as the profit, which is obviously, if it's going back into the pool, you're also diminishing your risk quite rapidly as you offload the units, right? So it's a risky position that over time is getting decreasing, right?
And also regarding cash flow, the more you sell in advance rapidly, the better you finance the next installment, not through your cash, I mean new cash, but from the cash you obtain it back. Yeah. So in terms of cash, you don't need to have 100% of cash. Yeah. In terms of ROE, that's very important, because the less cash you use from your pocket, the better ROE you can obtain. And ROE is not only a speculative point of view, no? I'm not focused on double-digit ROI or ROE. I think that the remuneration of the capital depends on the time.
Yeah, of course.
So you can be super happy, like I am, when you sell your units to someone that has the intention to flip them, to trade them. So I share a part of the profit if I don't wait the handover. Yeah. But that's a good point, because I can find investor like me, more prudent, that want to enter when the situation is easy to understand, and they want to take a part of the profit. So it's a good deal.
Talking ROE, return on equity, what kind of numbers were we talking with the marina project? I mean, have you exited it entirely now?
Yeah,
you're out. Okay.
Yeah. In 1/3 of the stock was resold again.
Okay.
I can.
You say 1/3 of the stock was resold.
Yeah,
oh, again.
Resold again.
Okay, I see.
From my buyers.
Okay, so you could have held, right? And there was more. There's more to go. But what sort of return are we looking at?
I don't want to emphasize, because I don't want to invite to do a risky job like this one, especially if you are not expert and if you didn't make a lot of mistakes. I made, absolutely, and it's very hard when you lose your money. But I think 30-40% is something feasible.
In what period of time?
A project, when I manage a project, I program 18 months. Okay. It could be 1 year, probably until 2 years.
Okay.
But, yeah,
and you go project by project?
Yeah, I prefer to go project by project. I diversify my investment, sometimes buying something unique like a penthouse on JBR under construction that I have, or an exclusive apartment in a signature building like S Tower of Shoba.
Okay.
But this is something different. To serve a different market is a strategy to de-risk if the popular market, let me say common market, should change something, and also to secure my money, because even in case of Sensoria or in case of S Tower, the price will increase progressing the construction.
And how are you judging what's fair market? What's a good deal? Like, are you doing it based on the number you feel it should be worth? Are you looking at data from the land department? Are you looking at what else is available in the market?
Data are very important. And in Dubai, we are lucky because we have a lot of information.
Yes.
Sometimes difficult to manage, are too many. What I try is to feel what's happening in the city. I live here, and I live here because I like to live here, but living on site, you feel what's happening in the air, and also you can easily follow the decision of the government, what they really have in mind regarding the master plan or the development of new areas. Now we have the example of Palm Jebel Ali was launched a few days ago. Or, I don't know, Dubai Island is a new destination. With respect for Nakheel, we have to understand better in how much time it will become a destination. Maritime city also, design district also. Of course, discovering new areas that will be demanded is important for your capital appreciation. If not, you secure your money in downtown or in Marina or on the Palm. But of course, you cannot be sure regarding the upside you will realize in a short or relatively short period of time, isn't it?
I suppose, and if, correct me if I'm wrong, but Marina was the first place you invested. I know that you've mentioned obviously S Tower, Sensoria. S Tower is in Media City, Sensoria is in JBR.
It's on the beach.
Exactly, it's on the beach. I know you've done in JVC an investment. You are talking about areas that are somewhat established, right? Even JVC, I would like to think, is relatively established.
Do you think so? Many people does not know when I speak about Jumeirah Village Circle, they say, what?
So Jumeirah Village Circle, to give investors a really quick summary, is one of the few areas in Dubai that's quite centrally located where private developers can do their own projects, right? There's the JVC, Business Bay is another big one, but Business Bay requires huge capital because it's such an expensive land and for high rises, whereas JVC, you have lower buildings. But it's one of the few areas where you have these private developers coming in, and because they're private, they need to sell their product in a different way, so they tend to do a very good product, right? It's surprising sometimes that a one-bedroom apartment in unknown development in JVC can sometimes be better finished than an EMA project in Dubai Hills. And it's not, like, to me, it's not a big surprise because I know both developers and what their agenda is, but to the common investor it is, right? So I see JVC as quite a stable, secure place to put your money. I think it's got a lot of upside in the future. We have about 150 employees in our business. I think about 100 of them live in JVC. It really is staggering just how many people are moving to that part of town. So for me, yes, it's an established community. But what I would like to know from you is, you mentioned Dubai Design District, Maritime City, these kind of areas. Are you investing in those areas, or are you staying away while you see how they settle? No,
honestly, not yet.
Okay.
I think could become good destinations but probably are not mature for my profile.
Okay.
For what I want to realize in a short or relatively short period of time. No?
Yeah.
Probably is the same consideration I made for Palm Jebel Ali. Is a wonderful project, great vision, could become a great destination in how many years?
Yeah.
For what I want to realize.
Yeah. I mean, again, we discussed it, right? 18 to 24 month turnarounds, right? So, you know, the Palm Jebel Ali, it's going to sell out, or it's been selling out, right? But the construction's not going to start, you know, for another year, 18 months, whatever it might be, right? So you always need a bit of momentum, right, behind a project before you start seeing the resale market really kick in. And I think, you know, some of the projects that you've invested into have been ones that we as companies have looked at. Obviously, we don't invest, we put our attention, our effort, right, to try and sell those units. So I think in some ways we're quite aligned with that. I think those kind of areas have got a lot of upside still, and you can still buy at good prices, a good price per square foot, right?
That means the real Dubai, you know?
Yeah.
Because very often TV shows represent, or social media represent Dubai like a fake city, or a city where everything is super luxurious or dedicated to millionaires and billionaires. But I think that there is an important part of people like us that we work and live in this city every day. So I mean, we need services.
Yeah, Dubai is as normal as it gets. I think a lot of people miss that, right? Yes, it's got amazing hotels and restaurants and, you know, exceptionally Instagram friendly, but, you know, there's 3.5 million people here, and the main reason why people are here is to improve their lives, to make a bit more money than they would make back home. And those people live in relatively normal accommodation, right? A 2-bedroom apartment with a couple of kids and maybe a dog and a little garden. And that's the normal person, right? This the penthouse side of things, that represents a very, very niche market that is very loud, right? And it's what a lot of people from overseas see, but it's not the whole Dubai. There's no doubt about that. I personally think that I lead a very good but a very normal life, and I've traveled a lot, but I think Dubai can give you that normal life if you want it. In the summer it's more brutal because it's so hot, but other than that it's very comfortable.
You asked me regarding data. For example, what I noticed in 2022 was the increasing number of sale and purchase transaction in the JVC area. In that year, last year, JVC made substantially the same number of transactions than Marina and downtown. And I decided to start my first investment in this area. Today, they are the double than Marina, Palmer, downtown. And you know, in real estate, to count on a high demanded market means to liquidate your position also, if you want to, of course. And is an opportunity to remain relatively safe when you inject a lot of money. You know, Elegance Tower that I'm participating with the Shaima developer is a big project. It's a big for my shoulder. And I secured with almost half of the tower. Means a portfolio of 40-50 units because I trust in the product. But I don't know how to you see the market, because are 3 years that prices are increasing and rents too. Do you think it will continue?
I think the market right now is it's tough to understand. The interesting, if Dubai was dependent on the population that exists in Dubai, people who have lived here for a long time, it's not sustainable, right? The interesting thing about Dubai, what makes it quite unique, is that it has a constant flow of new people and new money coming in. And I don't see that changing. I spent 2 months in Europe this summer, and everyone that I spoke to and mentioned that I lived in Dubai, they were interested. that it's quite fascinating. I've been having this conversation my entire life about Dubai, and for the longest time it was just a boring conversation. Dubai, the fake city or whatever, right? Now it's really a place that people want to move to. So the government's got big plans to increase the population to 5.4 million by 2040. I think that they're going to achieve those targets and much, much more. And if they still need more, if they're going to have more people, they're going to need more real estate. So my point is, the prices have gone up a lot. People who have been in Dubai for a long time might see that as a bit of a red flag, something to be cautious of. But the new people coming to Dubai, that's what matters. It matters what they think of the pricing, because they're the ones that are going to be buying. They're the ones that are going to be renting. And they, you know, I was looking at buying a property in Amsterdam this summer. It's a city that my wife and I love. And I wasn't interested in what the prices were 2 years ago. I'm interested in what the prices are today, because I'm a new investor. Okay. And I think that's the biggest thing about any city, about any real estate market, is that sometimes we can get caught up in the history too much. We can almost be too smart, right? Too clever. And that's what I liked about what you said, is that you get a feel.
Yeah.
I think that's so underrated, and I've learned in my last 12 years just how wrong I am most of the time. Right? I remember when Blue Waters was launched at 2,300 dirhams per square foot. I thought it was expensive. Right now it's 5 times that, right, in some cases. So I genuinely think that real estate's a tough one, and data can go a very long way, and it is important to educate yourself because you need to understand the risks, but sometimes you need to, you know, feel it. And the one piece of advice I really stress to most of my clients is, what is the worst case scenario and can you live with it? Right, you touched on it. Yeah. Buy it, flip it, or rent it. Right. So if you get stuck with these units and you have to complete the payments, can you rent them? Are you happy with the yield? Does it give you time to recover? If that's the case, then at least you know that the worst situation is manageable. And I think that's one thing that I've seen some people not look at, and that's when things go wrong. When they don't look at the worst case happens, and then they find themselves in a position that they can't sustain.
Good point.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much. Take care.